Representative O'Rourke, I got a question for you that I really wanted to draw some contrast between you and your opponent, and it's on the issue of immigration reform. So far, pretty much every question you all have been asked about immigration reform has been within the context of the DREAM Act. But the topic is comprehensive immigration reform, which by definition means more than just the DREAM Act. So what policies, or what differences in terms of policy, would there be between a Congressman O'Rourke and a Congresswoman, what's her name?
Well, I don't know what the differences are because I don't know what her policies are when it comes to immigration reform. And it's part of the reason I talk about the DREAM Act. It's a very real piece of legislation before us that we can either vote yes or vote no on. And I choose to vote yes. She's choosing to vote no. Gracias. And but then you have to go beyond that, and you have to look at what you would do comprehensively. So you have millions of people who are in this country who have been working without legal status for years, sometimes decades. They've contributed to this economy. They've contributed to our communities. They help make us who we are. El Paso's the country's safest city, bar none, in large part, I think, because of a very large immigrant population. 30% of the Hispanic population in El Paso was born in another country. So I think we have an amazing, beautiful story to tell about immigration. So those people who have labored here in the shadows need to be brought out of the shadows, need to be paid a fair day's wage, need to have the protections afforded to citizen workers in the United States. And we need to be able to do that with them remaining in this country. That's as opposed to what I hear from many of the Republicans, which is everyone who is here without documentation needs to immediately leave the country. Forget the fact that that is logistically impossible. It goes against our values. It goes against the fact that these folks have contributed far more to this country and to our economy than they've ever drawn down in benefits or help. So I think that's the morally just thing to do. I think it's also the economically self-serving thing to do for our country. If we really were to remove all of the immigrants who are here without documented status, our economy would collapse. And I think most of us who understand how things work in this country acknowledge that. We then need to work on the number of visas that are issued, 250,000 worldwide in a country of 300 million. So we absolutely, thank you, we absolutely need to turn, we need to improve that process. When Republicans say, you know, we're a country of laws, and if you want to come to this country, you need to get in the back of the line. What they don't understand is that, I hope they don't understand, is that the back of the line right now extends 20 years. They're processing visa applications from 1992 in Ciudad Juarez, which, by the way, is the only U.S. consulate in Mexico that's processing visa applications for entry into the United States. So I would increase the number of visas. I would regularize the status of the people who are already here, some of whom will want to become citizens, and we need to create a path for them to do that, some of whom just want to earn money for their families and return to their countries of origin. And the third thing I would do is those high-skill graduates of our universities and our postgraduate programs, just as they're on the verge of being able to do some amazing things in the United States, whether it's the next big invention or big company, or whether it's something that they're going to do artistically or otherwise in our communities, let's give them a chance to work here, to continue to study here, and to continue to contribute here. So those are the 3 points that I would specifically push to enact if elected to Congress to move forward with comprehensive immigration reform. Let me say this, though, because I think it's really important. The other reason I think we need to move forward with the DREAM Act is it would declaw the Republicans who think that the sky is going to fall if we somehow grant regularized status to people who are here illegally. When they see these young dreamers going to college, serving in the armed forces, contributing to their communities, and the world doesn't fall apart, and in fact America is stronger for it, I think we then have case in point for why we need to move forward with comprehensive immigration reform. So the DREAM Act is a very real and important first step in that process.
Due to the election map of the 16th Congressional District here in El Paso, there really isn't a pathway for a Republican to win the seat without getting a tremendous amount of support from Democratic voters. Your opponent has really been pretty silent on immigration from any other context other than the DREAM Act. But you cited the fact that she's a Republican. Are you disappointed that there hasn't been a more fleshed out dialogue about policy positions as it relates to immigration reform?
Well, this is probably the 12th or 13th or 14th debate or forum that we've had in the general election cycle. So I don't know that tonight perfectly illustrates the level of conversation or debate that we've had on all the topics, including immigration. So the 3-point plan that I just laid out in immigration reform, I put forward in front of other groups and forums and debates like this one, neighborhood association meetings, and frankly I haven't heard much of anything in concrete terms from Mrs. Carrasco. She says she's against the DREAM Act because it's not comprehensive immigration reform. She then refuses to define what comprehensive immigration reform is or how she would get it done.
Right now, and to kind of put a finer point on that, are you concerned that that answer sounds like she's more moderate than she actually is on immigration?
I think that's what she's trying to do. I mean, she doesn't declare her party status or affiliation. She never says I'm a Republican. I always take pains to say that I'm a Democrat. I think I saw her during the primary as a very Republican, almost Tea Party on a lot of issues, and now she's moving to the center. I think, and you would be the best judge because you've covered us from primary to general election, I think I've been very consistent on the issues that I've argued from the beginning of this campaign more than a year ago. And I think that's hopefully what is going to appeal to people in El Paso, because they're not going to agree with everything that I say. I'm for gay marriage, which is a kind of a controversial issue here. I'm for the DREAM Act, and I don't know how that polls. Maybe it's popular, maybe it's not. But people always know that I'll always take a stand. I've never taken a pass on these issues, and I'll always speak my mind. And so I think that hopefully is going to appeal to people who want someone who's going to shoot straight and who's going to work with whomever has the best idea regardless of party. But yes, you're right, this is a democratic city.
Barring the biggest political resurrection since Lazarus, you're probably going to be the next member of Congress from the 16th District of Texas. What would, fast forward to the end of your time in Congress, what do you want an O'Rourke term in Congress to be remembered as?
That's a great question. I want to be remembered as somebody who is very ambitious for this community, so who is never satisfied with, well, we've got these long bridge wait times because security with Mexico is an issue and we have to appease the Republicans and the centrists in the Democratic Party. No, Beto O'Rourke told a really compelling story about the border, about how it contributes more to the United States than it takes from the United States, how it's this amazing source of energy, how it is a font of ideas and people and transformation, and the rest of the country recognized that and stopped investing $30 billion in a wall that separates us, started putting in Customs and Border Protection officers so we could pass people and trade more effectively, saw immigration through our eyes, not as this threat or source of anxiety, but El Paso is the safest city in the country for a reason, and part of that reason is that we have a large immigrant population. And so I also think or hope that I'm humble enough to know that I won't have solved every of the issues that we put forward in this campaign, but I want people to know that I made progress on those issues, that I moved the agenda forward, and that I then got out of the way, and I didn't try to hang on forever thinking that I was more important than the community. But I think if I had to boil it down, somebody who represented the border in El Paso with pride in Congress.
And Representative O'Rourke, this is likely my last opportunity to interview you, so I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, before you go to Congress, who is your favorite blog in town?
The Lion Star blog. Thank you, man.